So, hello and welcome to Values Plus AI Equals Impact. My name is Rhonda Bowen, and I'm your Pathfinder for today's session. Today is May 14th, 2025, and it is 2 p.m. CET. And what we do in these sessions at the beginning to get started is each person introduces him or herself and tells a little bit about what they're using in values for their own personal lives or for their professional lives, and how you think or what you'd be interested in finding out more about from AI to help you make a bigger impact with the things that you're doing in the world. And I will pick on Alan first because he's at the top of my screen.
Thanks very much. The reason I hesitate is because there are a number of things. I won't take up too much time, but I'll give you a kind of quick insight into a few of them maybe. So the first one is I'm co-authoring a book at the moment called The Humanity Code, How Values Define Our World. And we are collaborating with AI for some of the content, which we are then going to be upfront about when we're sharing it with the world, because the purpose is not to put forward a particular argument or idea, but more to encourage exploration and curiosity. So that's one. With a couple of other people, I'm developing a wealth management AI coach product, which is focused on wealth in its widest sense. So rather than historically wealth management dealing with financial assets and accumulation of those assets, this is rather about understanding what you want to do with your life, understanding the assets that you have at your disposal, financial and non-financial, and then how you deploy those in order to go where you want to go. I think that's enough for now. So I'll hand over to, is that Angelique?
Angelique, do you hear us? Maybe she's had to step away for a moment.
Yeah.
For those people who are watching the recording and haven't been with us before, this is a program that started on World Values Day in 2024 in October, where I was mentioning to Charles Fowler, who's the founder and can't be with us unfortunately today because he's traveling, but is usually always here with us as well. And we said, what are we talking about on World Values Day with AI? And he said nothing yet. And I said, okay, then we set up some times for people to talk specifically on that day. And one of the things that was mentioned was, this is something we can't just talk about once. We need to have this as an ongoing conversation. So since then, since December, we've had every second Wednesday of the month, we have these 3 sessions just to make sure that people who want to have this safe place to discuss things, whatever those things are, about AI, but in particular about how they deal with values and how we make sure that we looking at the things that are not just which tools do you use or how much do you know about one or the other thing. I am not an AI expert, although I'm learning from somebody who's very, very well versed in these things. But I see a lot of people who are on the fear end of things and saying, I don't want to do anything with this and just leave me alone. And I see on the other end all the self-proclaimed experts who think they know all kinds of things and are on this big hype and everything has to be AI. And I think there needs to be a sane place in the middle for the rest of us. And that's why we started having these discussions. Number one, for people to not only come and say who they are, but bring their questions. If there are tools that you're curious about or you'd like to know about how to do something with a particular tool, if I can help, I can also demonstrate that here. But if not, we can just have a very good conversation about what are we needing AI for to be doing with us, not to us, not for us, but for me, with us in the future, and how do we want to manage that? Because I think having a community that is looking at the ethical and the values part of AI is a very important thing with everything that's happening with AI in the world at the moment. So I would ask Angelique now if she can speak to us. Maybe in the meantime something has happened and she's back. Angelique, can you hear us? Maybe not. Okay, then we'll go back and see. Alan, is there anything in particular that you're curious about or that you have something you'd like to share? You can share your screen and share something with us as well if you feel so inclined. This is co-created, this community, so everyone has the chance to bring in what it is that they would like to contribute.
Yeah, well, on the AI side, we are currently actively searching for a tech partner to create the AI model with us. So we have the concept, but we would love to develop an AI coaching version of that. And we're thinking that rather than start from scratch, if there's somebody out there with an existing generic coaching model, then we might be able to build on that and develop it rather than start from ground zero. So that's something we're looking for. And then when you were talking about these sessions, Rhonda, it gave me an idea because, like you say, World Values Day is in October, and of course, we shouldn't stop doing stuff through the rest of the year. And it just occurred to me it would be fascinating to get an AI generated summary of all of these sessions that you've done in the year to publish on World Values Day in celebration of what had gone before.
Wonderful. I will make a note of that, number one, because all of our sessions are being recorded with AI. We record on Fathom, and Fathom gives us, for every individual session, it gives us not only the transcript, but it gives us a summary as well. So it would be very easy to take all of the 12 times 3 is 36 sessions and put them all together. So thank you. That's a wonderful idea. The request you just made is something similar that someone this morning said he'd be interested in making his digital twin. And that's something very close to what you were talking about with the coaching thing. I know some people who help people make their own GTP, as many people call it. And I know somebody who's done a very good job of that. But on the other hand, I've just researched recently, and I will be sending emails tomorrow, or whenever you're seeing this, you will have received an email if you've registered, for you to find out all the notes and to be able to join the community. But I was researching some things and found the lists of the top 10, 15, 20, how many ever they put in the particular article, AI consultancies. So I'll make that available on the platform tomorrow as well, so that you can go in and actually see the names of different consultancies and how the people who wrote these articles ranked them and what they were using as their basis to decide that they belong in the top 10 or 15 or whatever that is. So maybe that would help you, and you'd be able to actually reach out to people based on some background information ahead of time, as opposed to just running around and trying to find somebody. I mean, Perplexity would probably help you with that as well. Are you familiar with Perplexity? Yeah, okay. Because we modeled that this morning because some people hadn't seen Perplexity yet. So and I will be putting that in the notes as well. We asked, how can I find the best sources for ethics or values in AI? And it came up with 28 sources. So it was very, very nice thing that we did. And we'll be including that in the notes as well. But that's a good thing, because I already have that list and I can make that available to us as well.
Right.
And having the summary is a great idea, because we have talked about so many different things, and every group that meets always comes with different ideas, because it's different people doing different things and looking for different things. So that's really important. I'm going to stop for a moment and see if Angelique has come back. Angelique, can you say anything to us at the moment? Doesn't.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes, there you are. Thank you very much. We want to hear how we can bring you into the conversation today.
I'm a professional listener looking to get a therapy business off the ground. So I'm trying to figure out what to put on my website.
Okay. And you want to have something in your therapy business also working with AI, or are you looking to have AI help you set up things like a website, for example?
I'm looking to have it help me set up things like a website.
Okay. Then let me just go to my wonderful list. I have a nice list of things, and one of those is helping people set up a website. So I could show you one of these and you could get an idea. I just have to find my list. Hold on one second, because there are so many of these wonderful things that can help you. There are also ones that help you make presentations. And I think this is the one. Let me check. There are many of these. I'm just using one as an example.
Angelique, what's the business called?
Can you hear us, Angelique? Yes.
It's called Let's Help Empathy, LLC.
Much Health Empathy, did you say?
Blessed Help Empathy.
Let's Help Empathy. Okay, very good. I will have all these things in the notes. So you'll be getting the email tomorrow to be able to look at this in more detail later, Angelique. But this is one of those things that you can use to set up pages. So if we wanted to say what would you like us to call this? What would you write in this as the answer? And I'll type it in for you.
Providing professional listening services.
Providing professional listening services. Is that right?
Yes.
It's okay. So let's just watch what happens. So look at this. And I'm sure you can go in and do lots of additions or changes or put in images and change the colors and all of those things. But if you've never done a website before, this is giving you a very good overview of what it could look like. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Yes. Okay. So this will be in the notes, as I said, when I send out the message tomorrow, you'll be able to see that. And as I said, there are many of these kinds of tools online. And if you see how quickly that went as compared to the old days when Alan and I probably started making website pages a long time ago, I know how many hours and hours and hours it took. This, of course, would be a wonderful way for you to get started. And when you have a nice logo and you have images you can put in, then you'd have so much of it done just to get going. Do you also know where you want your website to live? So do you have a place to register your domain, or are you still looking for some service for that as well?
I already have the domain. It's a 10-year domain, but what I don't have is a place to put it.
Okay. All right. So let me show you that this is not something that has necessarily only to do with AI, but this is the host I've been using for years and years and years. They are extremely helpful. Where are you physically located, Angelique? Where do you live?
Sayville, New York, USA.
Okay, very good. These people are here in Europe with Alan and me, but that's okay. The nice thing about these people they're called WPX. I will put that in the notes for you tomorrow as well. The gentleman is originally from Australia, but they're now in Bulgaria. And the one nice thing about this is if you click on this little bot, this is not AI. There is a real person who comes on within 30 seconds to chat with you. 30 seconds. It's the fastest I've ever had in anything in the world for doing this. And the nicest thing about this, and I'm saying this as the non-tech person, I have a tech person who helps me, but before I knew him, these people can explain things to you and help you in a way that you don't have to be technical to understand, which is what I really love about this. And if you already have your domain, you would just go in and set up to have them host. And when you have a problem, you go in and you click and they are there to help you. And it is absolutely wonderful. Are you planning to use WordPress for your website? Do you know about that?
WordPress is too hard.
No, not with this, because this will help you make it much easier. And that's the only caveat with this. They work with WordPress, which is why it's called WP. Yeah. But if not, you and I could get together and talk some other time. If you looked at this and thought it wasn't the right thing, we could share something else as well, because there are so many options nowadays. This is just the one I can recommend full-heartedly because I've used them for years and years and years and have never had a problem that we couldn't fix. So I'm really, really happy about that. And would you like to, are you planning in your business to have AI helping you? I mean, besides things like setting up a website, but I mean, actively helping you in your business?
Yes, because I have to make action plans for people.
Ah, okay, very good. And the action plans need to have, do they need to be like a PDF, or what kind of a format are you looking for an action plan? How is that, how should that look?
The step-by-step stuff is going to be on a spreadsheet, but there is going to be an ebook PDF that goes with it to talk about things more in general.
Okay. And do you have a good place to create something like that already set up?
Well, I like going from Word and saving to PDF, but I also have the option of using Canva, but I find Canva to be more challenging and time consuming. So
Okay.
we'll see.
All right. I was going to recommend Canva. I use Canva. Alan, do you also use Canva?
Yeah, I use it, but I always feel that I'm not capable when I do use it, and when I see what other people are able to do, it's super impressive.
Well, Canva now has its own AI included as well. So if you're trying to do things and you really don't know how, if you now push on the AI button, it's a little like the website thing we just saw a moment ago. It is much easier to get started than it was when we all started with Canva before there was AI in it. So, but I mean, if to get started, Angelique, to have a PDF, but you can, of course, also put a Word document into Canva and make it look pretty, quote unquote, if you would like to do that. So you could get started just with the things that you're normally used to working at, but you could also then upgrade if you would like to at some point with Canva, which is nice. So you don't have to create in Canva, you can just improve with Canva, because the nice thing that Canva does now, for example, is if you have generated, let's say, an image, many people want to have a photograph looking thing and it needs to have a word on it or a name or something. And when you do that in a lot of the AI programs that exist now, it will make a beautiful image, but the word will be spelled wrong. And you're sitting there and saying, I love the picture part of it, but I hate the fact that I can't use it because the spelling is wrong. It is now possible to take that and put it into Canva, and it will help you change the spelling. So you can make the spelling correct in the image that you have from somewhere else. So that's nice that these AI tools are sort of helping each other out at the moment, because there are wonderful images that are being done in, I don't know, Midjourney and Leonardo and many, many wonderful things that you can get online, but most of them really have problems with words, and Canva can help you fix that. So that's another nice thing to help. All right, good. So what else do we need to be thinking about, discussing, looking at for our time today? Anyone have another idea or another question they'd like to bring up?
Well, my one thing that comes to mind doesn't relate to AI actually, but
Okay.
Angelique, if your business is all about listening, I run a Values Jam guest sessions series, which is basically diving into a randomly chosen values card from a card deck and having a conversation with no objective. So if you'd like to join me for one, and if that could maybe help you get your business off the ground to help promote it and stuff like that, then I'd love to do that with you. Rhonda, you've already been there, right?
Yes, and it was a wonderful experience, and it would give you a nice video that you would be able to put on a website, on a YouTube page, wherever you would like to put it. And you would have this wonderful conversation with Alan, and that would be something where you could actually talk about a lot about what's important to you. And that would give people who are interested in your company a chance to get really good insights about who you are and how you interact with somebody like Alan. Yeah. Very good. So she's put in the chat, Alan, that she wants to do the value jams session with you. So,
Cool.
yeah.
I'll just put my email in.
Excellent. It's a wonderful experience, Angelique. I can definitely recommend it. Okay. There we go. So now we have that in the chat. That's absolutely wonderful. See, that's what we're here for. We're co-creating things that add value and help us increase our impact. And some of them have AI, and now this one doesn't, but that doesn't matter because otherwise we wouldn't have all been in this room having this nice conversation. So that's what we're here to make sure that everybody gets some kind of benefit out of these sessions.
Here's one for you, Rhonda, maybe, and it's a frustration actually, and it was you mentioning how Canva changes the letters.
Yeah.
So I was creating a logo for K20, which is basically an initiative to bring all of the members of the global kindness community together. And the logo consisted of a lowercase k, followed by a 2, and then a globe, which replaced the 0 at K20. And then the words kindness without borders, justified left to the right of the previously mentioned K2 globe. And so ChatGPT did this, but the copy on the right hand side was not aligned to the level top and bottom of the K, the 2 and the globe. So I tapped in, could you please begin the 3 words kindness without borders at the same level as the top of the lowercase k, the top of the 2 and the top of the globe, and the bottom word borders should be aligned to the bottom of da, da, da. And I thought I was being really precise with my language. And for some reason, it just couldn't understand. And I even got to the stage of saying, I'm obviously not doing this right. Can you help me? How can I explain this better so that you can understand? And we just didn't get there. And I think I worked out, I even put lines in and stuff like this. And I worked out that it was regarding some lines that were not at the top and the bottom of what I was talking about as its guide. And I couldn't actually overcome that in any way. So have you come across something like that before?
Yes. Well, and I mean, the interesting thing about ChatGPT is that DALL-E is integrated into ChatGPT to do the imagery. So it's a separate program. And of course, then you've already got 2 things internally speaking to each other, plus you are speaking. So you've got a triangle, if you will, of what's going on. If you have that logo, you can upload it to Canva and you can align it exactly the way you want it. There is absolutely no problem doing that in Canva. So if you can't get ChatGPT or DALL-E or the combination of the 2 to be doing that, just take the logo as it is, insert it into Canva, and you can actually then, when you click on the various parts of it, you can actually move it around the way you're used to probably doing things in Canva. And then you can align it exactly the way you want, or change the font, or all those kinds of things, which you wouldn't be able to do very well in ChatGPT and DALL-E anyway, because it's not set up for that. But you'd have access to all the fonts and all the different colors and all of those things you would need in Canva. So I would suggest, if that's what you're looking for, that would be a good way to go in and try it out. And if you need help with somebody who's really good at Canva, I have a gentleman who's good at that as well. So if it doesn't work and you can't figure it out, send it to me and we'll send you something back. Or we'll get on a call and make sure that it looks the way it needs to look.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Angelique, how have you gone about getting yourself a logo for your business?
Can you hear us, Angelique?
I used ChatGPT to design my logo. And they made a beautiful logo for me. Yeah, I'm impressed.
Very good.
Good that you're pleased.
Yeah.
I was on a call recently, and the guy was explaining his learning journey with AI, And he said that he's running an AI learning company basically. So he said his first effort was to ask ChatGPT, could you create me a logo for my AI teaching business? And it generated nothing very impressive. And then he explained that after some months of development, he figured out that a better way was to ask ChatGPT, who are the 6 most renowned logo designers over the last 5 years? Then, when ChatGPT gave the answer, he said, could you combine their respective skills and create 6 options of logos for my... And just taking those preliminary steps made such a difference, he said, in terms of how the logo felt and looked. But Angelique, you must have cracked it sooner than that.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And if you ever, anybody who is also, those of us who are not on the call today and would like to have a logo and don't have a chance to do that, this is a wonderful thing that I've used many times in my company, because when you put in your information, it starts sorting through various options and it aligns with what you're telling it. So not only the name, but you have to say what kind of business it is and how it works and all of those things. And in the end, you get a brand kit. You don't just get a logo. You can get all the things that go with that. So you can get all these different things, which you could get in Canva as well, but you just get them as one package. So you get not only a logo, you get lots of other things that work well with it. And it's a wonderful tool, and I've used it very, very many times. And there's a nice thing in there explaining how it works. And you get inspirations, and then you can go in and say, but I'd like different colors, or I'd like this, or I'd like that. And you get the chance then to update and change the thing as you like. And then you also see them on other things. So if you're not just looking for a logo to put on a website, but to look on other things, you get all of these files so that you can keep them and use them in the future for whatever you need. So for it looks like we all have logos more or less, but for those of you who are watching us on the recording, this would also be a good option for you. It's called Looka, Looka, for you to do things with logos and get a whole set of things that you need. So that could also be helpful perhaps as well. I want to be respectful of your time because this is a 30-minute session. We are coming to the end of that. Is there anything anyone else would like to ask or add before we close the session today? I'm seeing a no from Alan. Angelique, is there anything else we can do for you today?
No, this is great. Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, we look forward to seeing you again. And since you're on the East Coast of the US, there is another session this afternoon, your time, if you would like, in, let's see, in 4.5 hours. If you'd like to come back, there'll be different people here. So that's great. And it's not so early in the morning for you. So that might be nice as well if you're interested. And if not, as I said, tomorrow, everyone who's here live and has registered, you'll be getting an email from me with links to all the things you can do, including our community, where you have access to all of the tools we have ever talked about and other resources in the database. And you'll have the chance to join the community and go in. You can see all of the videos of all the sessions that we've done and have a chance to interact with other people in the groups that you don't get to attend live, obviously, because we do 3 of these a day. So I've really enjoyed being with you today. Hope we found some wonderful, helpful things to keep you going, to help you take your values and make a bigger impact in the world using AI. And look forward to seeing you at another session soon. Thank you so much for joining us.